Hey Fit Fam, Coach Russo here. Welcome to step one. Now before we begin, what I want you to do here in your portal is click the step one worksheet printout. And I've included a giant picture saying to click the link below. And we have this meal schedule printable. Boom. That's going to download the PDF. So every computer does that. You're going to open that PDF and here you go. And then you're going to print. All right, welcome to step one, meal scheduling. I love this quote. If you don't plan, plan to fail. So meal scheduling is all about having a plan and executing that plan, which will lead to what? Great results. Okay. So, and you guys can read this, but look, simple plan, right? We want to execute a simple plan, and when it's done consistently and correctly, that will produce the best results. There are way too many diet and meal plans, as you heard me say before, that are way too complicated, but don't produce results. And we're all about results. All right, why you schedule. Why we schedule is because we're going to live our plan, and we want to know why it's important, okay? First is you're going to have structure. It is somewhat flexible, and it's definitely easy to follow. Two big pluses. Next is you're going to be able to control your calories just by limiting the amount of foods in between, and when we do the next part, we'll learn more about the proper amount of foods. And we won't actually have to count any calories, okay? And last but not least is nutrient timing, sort of a more advanced subject, but eating consistently throughout the day will help you balance your blood sugar levels and have sustained energy, right? These are all things that we want. All right, next page. Start with the end in mind. I love that quote. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at an example meal schedule, but more importantly, right here, look at this. We're not going to start with what to eat, but when. Have you guys bought a diet book and all they talk about is what to eat, right? No. That we need to start with when, folks. Super important, okay? So here's an example of a meal schedule. You have meal one, which I usually just call breakfast. You're going to have it between 7 and 8. No, it's not a 1 hour meal, right? It's between 7 and 8. Meal two, you'll notice, right? It's a little bit 5 hours apart from meal one. Meal two, another hour window. Call it lunch. You are having, how many snacks do you see here, folks? One snack. And we'll talk about more about that later. And that happens between 4 and 5. And then meal three, you're going to have between 7 and 8. So that's what a meal schedule looks like. Now let's learn how to write one for ourselves. All right, so these are the simple, sort of easy to follow steps to write a meal plan. What we're going to do first is we're going to schedule 3 meals a day with 1 hour time frame. So if we go back to our example over here, we notice that these have 1 hour time frames. You're going to have the meal between that time frame, which is that's what gives us this flexibility. Step 2, make sure these meals are 3 to 6 hours apart. So let's say I had meal 1 at 8, right? And then I ate again at 10. Well, that's not very far apart. And then all of a sudden I have this long gap, right, between 10 and 4, which is 6 hours, and it would cause your blood sugar to crash. It also causes a lot of hunger. So we want to keep these meals relatively close. Now, I said 6 hours, but look, it could get a lot worse, right, later on. So, next we're going to do, schedule 1 snack. So that's really going to help limit the calories, folks, is only having that 1 snack. Not 2 snacks, not a meal plus a snack, right? Just 1 snack. That's kind of ward off hunger in between meals. And now a little bit of mindset coaching, right? Understand that there is no perfect schedule, okay? Not every day is going to be the same way. You're not going to have this magic meal plan. It is essentially flexible in its structure, and that's the next part. Is you can adjust the time frames, folks. Let's say like your schedule, let's say this schedule right here just doesn't work. Well, get rid of it. Try a new schedule. However, you want to aim to be consistent, so don't change your meal schedule every single day. Try to have one that works. Usually follow a routine so you can usually stick to your schedule. All right, on this page, we have, look at this. I love this quote. 3 meals a day with life in between. Not more food, okay? That is, in essence, the most important part of the meal schedule is we know when to eat, but we also know when not to eat. All right, so let's look at, these are just 3 basic examples, right? And essentially what I've done is I've just moved the snack into different slots based on your personal preference. You know, when I wrote this one here, I was thinking of someone who likes to eat at night, okay? This is a person who gets hungry in the morning, and this is a person who gets that kind of mid-afternoon slump. Hopefully you're not all 3, okay? If you are, though, following the meal plan will help you figure it out. So, printable versions, folks, and you guys will see step 1 worksheet. I started the video with printing out this worksheet because that's so important. You guys got to write it down. All right, so let's work through these worksheets together. All right, writing your schedule. So I'll zoom in here, and let's say person 1. They get up at let's say they get up at 6 a.m., but they're not that hungry right away. So you wait till about, let's say, 8 a.m. to have the first meal or breakfast. So I get a 1 hour time frame, so that would be 9 a.m. So I could have breakfast between 8 and 9 a.m., depending on hunger. Now, meal 2, minimum of 3 hours. So the earliest I could start would be 11 a.m. But that might be kind of early. So let's say this person, they want to wait 5 hours, okay? 5 is 10, 10 is 1 p.m., right? And a 1 hour time frame is 2 p.m. Good. Now, this person knows that they like to eat at night, so they get hungry at night, so they want to wait to have that snack. So what they're going to do here is they're going to wait another, let's just say 5 hours to keep it consistent, before they have meal 3, which would be 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., right? And now, since this meal schedule is scheduled out, that snack they can have at, essentially they could have it between, they could have it at 10, 11, 12. There's a lot of different time frames. Let's just say they're watching TV and they get hungry about 10:30. So in between 10:30 and 11:30, they have their last snack to kind of ward off those late night munchies. Okay, so let's look at the next one, meal 2. I'm only going to do 2. You guys can figure out which one works best for you. Let's say this person is one of those early risers, right? So they get up at 5 a.m. and they're hungry right away. So they want to eat between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. Maybe they have work, who knows. Some people like to get up early. I like to, but anyways, that doesn't matter. Now, they're going to want that snack early on because they don't want to wait all the way until like a normal lunchtime. So let's say they wait 4 hours for their snack. So that would be between 9 and 10 p.m., a.m. That'd be a long snack. So 9 and 10 a.m. is their snack time. Okay, so from here, I think you guys are getting the hang of it, is we're going to wait another, let's just say 3 hours to change it up. So 3 hours. So 3 is 9, 11, so that'd be 12. That's 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Okay, now look, this is a perfect example, is it's 1 p.m., right? And I have to go the rest of the day and I only get one more meal, right? Because there's no food in between. So if I have dinner at like 4, like I'm gonna essentially have to wait from 5 till I go to sleep. So this person likes to wait and kind of get a late dinner. So let's say they wait the maximum time of 6 hours, and that would be 6 to 7 p.m. when they would have their dinner or meal 3. So go ahead, choose your schedule, folks, on your printout, and if you want to fill them all out, that's good too. It's like I said, it's custom, and you're able to have flexibility. You can change which schedule you want. All right, the final step, rules for success. Folks, how you do things, that's what matters, okay? And we're talking about execution. So the first rule is you don't want to miss a meal. I know you guys are like, woo, we don't have to miss a meal, right? It's better to eat outside your time frame than to skip it. So let's go back to this person right here, the morning person. I know, beautiful. And let's say they get busy and they miss the snack, right? Something happened. So they don't want to wait, all the way to 12 to have lunch. Is they can have their snack, they can have their snack at, let's say, 11, okay? Now, what happens here is if you have your snack, let me erase these things to get you a little more clarity. So if you have your snack at 11, you don't necessarily want to eat lunch at 12, keeping your time frame. So you just kind of move things around. So if I had it at 11, let's say I eat at 11, 12, 1. Let's say I had 2 to 3, and then I could still have dinner from 6 to 7. So you don't have to change everything. But that's an example of how it's flexible. Just, folks, try not to skip meals, okay? No food. I love this rule. No food in between. This is where this one comes in. No food in between. If you've had all your meals and snacks, drink water. So let's go back to that first person. This is a great example. Okay. So let's say for some reason, this person, they got hungry early on. And they're like, man, I had to have that snack. And they got hungry and they kind of went outside the structure here and they had their snack at 8. So look, folks, like I said, there's no perfect structure. So they're snack at 8. So now it's 9 p.m. And then all of a sudden they stayed up late around 11 p.m. They get hungry again. Well, guess what? You can't have 2 snacks. So you can't eat at 11. You got to drink water, maybe some herbal tea. We'll get to that in the other part. Or just go to bed. Okay? And that can work for anyone, folks. Don't start adding extra meals. Okay? Now, the last piece, and I want you guys to comprehend this before we move more into portions in the next part, but a snack is not a meal. It must be considerably smaller portion. So in step 2, we're going to talk about portions, but folks, a snack is not a meal. Look, it's not 4 meals. All right, this is not a meal. Right? A snack, and like I said, we'll talk about this in step 2. That's 1 fruit or 1 serving of nuts or 1 protein shake. It's not all 3. All 3 would be a meal. So that's kind of how you guys can control your calories even more. All right, so with that is step 1. You can print out your worksheet and go to work. You guys can find all this information in the ebook for step 1. And once you finish, let's go to step 2.